Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security disability attorney. And I'd like to talk to you today about how you treat part-time work or a hobby when you're at your disability hearing. And the situation would be you stopped working full-time, let's say 6 months, a year, 2 years ago, whatever, and since that time you've done a little part-time work. Maybe you're working on some sort of a project, you're writing a book, you're doing some online training, something like that. You've picked up a hobby, gardening or raising pets or something like that. And you need to know, how do you deal with that at the hearing? Because obviously, if the judge senses that your part-time work, your hobby is really very, very similar to full-time work, or could be translated to mean full-time work, that's not a good thing. On the other hand, you don't want to minimize or lie about what you're doing, because especially it may be in the record, and the judge will see that you've taken up a certain hobby or that you're doing certain things, and if you lie about it, that's going to come back to bite you. You don't want to do that. So what's the best way to deal with it? And I think that the best way, at least in my view, is to be very, very specific. So in other words, if you're taking online courses, tell the judge how many hours a day, how many minutes you're actually doing that. So it's much better to say, well, Your Honor, I take online courses on YouTube. I can go at my own pace. I can usually get through about 25 or 30 minutes before I have to stop because my pain gets so bad, or because I can't concentrate, or my vision gets blurry, whatever the reason may be. And then I can maybe go back to it 3 hours later. That paints a very clear picture, as opposed to saying, I can't really do it very long. I just kind of sit there and I do as long as I can, then I got to stop, and I don't really get very much done during the day. Something general. You don't want to do that. You want to be more specific. And even better, if you can keep timesheets, literally write down how many hours in a particular day you do something. And I've had cases where my clients will submit over the course of a sample month, this is what I did every day. And one day maybe it was 20 minutes, one day it was 40 minutes, one day they couldn't do it at all. But if you can submit a timesheet, and I think there are even apps for this, but you can certainly do it on a spreadsheet or even handwritten. If you can show a sample month and say, this is a pretty good example of a typical month for me doing this part-time type of work, or this online learning, or this hobby, whatever it may be, the judge will then have a better understanding of how much time you're putting into it and whether this is equivalent to something that looks like a job. So that's really the best way to deal with that. Try not to be vague, try to be very, very specific, and the more specific in the form of actually an online timesheet, that's even better. I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything, and I've got a lot of videos out here I think you'll find very helpful. Also invite you to visit my website as well as my blog. Any questions you've got about for any future topics, please let me know. Happy to try to answer those questions on the next video. Again, Jonathan Ginsberg here, and thank you very much.